Latin 3 course, and we are ready for lesson 79. Cardinal numbers, numeral adjectives. Cardinal numbers, which answer the question how many. So unus means one. And then you've got your ordinals, which tell you in what order things come. So primus is first. And distributive numerals, which answer the question how many at a time, such as singly, at one at a time. So, cardinals and ordinals. Unus, una, unum. Duo, duai, duo. Tres, tres, tria. 1, 2, and 3 are the only cardinals that are declined, like masculine, feminine, and neuter adjectives. The rest of them, quatuor, quinque, sex, septem, octo, novum, decum, undecum, etc., are indeclinable. Some other interesting things here. Take a look at 18 and 19. Duo de vigenti, un de vigenti. 2 from 20 and 1 from 20. So they didn't have a word for it. They didn't say octo decum. They say duo de vigenti, 2 from 20. And vigenti is 20. That's an interesting form. And then trigenta. Look at your note here. The hundreds end in centi, or sometimes genti, and are declined like the plurals of bonus. The ordinals are declined regularly like bonus. And so 40 is going to be, quadragenti, quinquavi quingenti or quinquagenti. 60 will be sexagenti. So just like in English, 30, 40, 50, that's how you do 30, 40, 50, and so forth, from 3, 4, and 5. As far as the ordinals, primus, secundus, and then tertius, quartus, quintus, sextus, septimus, octavus, etc. Read through the list. I don't know that you need to make. I guess if you find any of them tricky or counterintuitive or not intuitive to your way of thinking, I would make vocabulary cards for those. But mostly, if you just look this over, the system should stick out at you. You won't have any problem recognizing them. You may have a problem. You have to memorize the word for 1,000. Mille. You have to memorize centum for 100. Those are non-intuitive. But most of the rest of them, after you learn the ordinals through 20, are very intuitive. All right, our vocabulary. Absum is to be away from, to be absent from. Adeo is so far or thus far. Circuiter is about, that is around about. Cognosco is to learn or to know. Forma is the shape or form, or it can even mean beauty. Hymns is winter. Third declension, obviously. Latinus is an adjective for Latin, again, obviously enough. Numero is I count, or I number, or I reckon. Passus, that's a pace, a double step. Mille passus is a mile, or about 1,000 double steps. So that's the Latin mile. I think it works out to about 4,800 feet. So it's about 400 feet shorter than an English mile, something like that. And piscus is a fish. All right, our translations. Number 1, as always, work them out on your own, and then come back to them for the corrections. Number 1, tentuisti provinciam per decum annos. Tentuisti provinciam per decum annos. The verb tenuisti is obviously perfect. E isti it, those strange endings there, perfect endings. From an irregular stem, you have held. You have held what? Something in the accusative. The province. And then for 10 years. 2, cognovimus vigenti formas literarum. Cognovimus vigenti formas literarum. So again, perfect verb. We have known vigenti formas, or we have learned 20 forms of the letters. Number 3. Kaiser se in Italiam cum sola decima legione movebat. Kaiser se in Italiam cum sola decima legione movebat. The verb is movebit, not movebat, movebit. He, she, or it will move. So Caesar will move, say, himself, into Italy with sola decima legione, with only the 10th legion, or accompanied by only the 10th legion. Number 4, accepi tuas octo epistolas. Accepi tuas octo epistolas. I have accepted, I have received your 8 letters. 5. Is locus abrat a novis Pompeii castris circiter passus quingentos. Is locus abrat a novis Pompeii castris circiter passus quingentos. So that this place, aberat, there's your verb, was absent or was distant. This place was distant from novis castris Pompeii, from the front lines, from the newest camp. That's the rear. From the rear camp of Pompey, circiter, about passus quingentos, about 500 paces, about half a mile. 6. Avus meus nonaginta annos vixit. Avus meus nonaginta annos vixit. My uncle lived, my grandpa. My grandpa had lived, or has lived, Wixit, has lived 90 years. They would often use the perfect tense of to live to mean to die. So this means my grandpa was 90 when he died. My grandpa has lived 90 years, they would say. Famously, when Cicero prevents the Catiline conspiracy and he has the conspirators exiled, he comes into the Senate and announces, "They have lived," meaning they died. Well, there you go. All right, that does it for lesson 79.